Hello, everyone. I hope you're there. It looks like some of you are beginning to join us. So I'm going to get started with some of the housekeeping bits. Just to let you know that you have joined us in listen only mode. If you've attended our webinars before, you've heard that. So that's not news. Obviously, that means that you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. However, we really want you to ask us questions. This is your opportunity to ask the expert and get your question answered. So please type them into that little questions chat box that you see in your dashboard. We love questions. And then, of course, stick around until the end to hear the answers, right? So please do that. Also, at the end today, we're going to talk about next month's webinar and also an awesome offer that SEO Rocket is offering for our advanced SEO audits that we were rolling out. So please stick around for that. Today, we actually have a special surprise guest, which is Sean Brown. He is going to join us today. As you can see him, he's joining us today to talk about to answer your questions at the end about PPC and SEO, whatever you throw at us. He is here to answer them. So please, this is your chance to stump the expert. So go ahead.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, Sean is our SEO specialist, so we love to give him a good challenge here and there.
I'm all for it.
He's all for it. All right, so I guess I'll get started. So I'm Angela McAfee with SEO Rocket. Thank you for joining us. For some of you who are just joining, we're right at 11:01 right now, so this is a good time to get started. Which is better? How do you decide whether SEO or PPC is right for you? That's what we're going to talk about today. So people will often call us or come to us and say, I need SEO or I need PPC. And that's when we usually say, well, let's decide, if that is what you need or not. Every situation is unique to the business, to their budget, to their timeline, and also to the competitive environment. So you may think you need one and need the other, or need both, which is, definitely a fantastic way to hit it all hard and aggressively. So today really isn't an SEO versus PPC talk. It's more of a matchmaking philosophy. So when you're listening today, think about the strengths of each one and think about your situation, your personal situation with your business and your marketing planning and needs. Give that a good thought as we're going through, does this apply to me? Does it not, etc. Maybe it will in the future, to decide which one is right for you, SEO or PPC. So we have an intense amount of things to discuss today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my camera down. Sean, you're probably going to do it too, just so you can see this better. And we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us. Okay, great. So let's get started. Quick basics of SEO and PPC. Some quick basics here. So two big differences with the two. So with paid search, it can offer a fast track to search marketing when done correctly. New businesses especially can have a really hard time getting started with SEO. So this is really important for them to consider. In that case, that may be your first choice versus a complementary choice. However, SEO, gives brands longevity and their visitors a higher quality site, which often leads to higher conversion to sales. So let's start with SEO. So the statistics will show that 80% of the traffic that can be generated for any website will come from organic search. All right, so the biggest search engine now, undoubtedly, as you may have heard, is Google, which garners more than 5.4 billion searches per day. Okay, so there are lots of advantages here. First, visibility. Let's just break them down one at a time. Visibility. Organic search gives you visibility and exposure for many more keywords that are below that search volume threshold allowed that PPC allows you to target. So most keywords will fall in this range. We call it the shotgun approach. These are the top of funnel info gathering type searches. This broader exposure increases your website traffic, providing you with more opportunities to drive that awareness of your business and educate a prospect as to why they should buy from you. This is, remember the old marketing funnel? This is the top of the funnel. We'll talk about that actually more in our May webinar. Next, as you can see here, brand credibility. Oops, sorry, you can see me? I just realized, sorry, and it's distracting. Looks like you guys can see me. I'm going to take my camera down. Sorry, my bad, user error. So your brand credibility, so being visible gives your business that all important stamp of approval. You know, you can become authoritative, you can have that voice around a given topic, but once you've established yourself in the organic results, it doesn't matter what your competitors spend on their advertising. They can't simply displace all that organic visibility that you have earned. I mean, you have worked hard to get there, right? Next, we have our Oops. You know what, guys? I'm sorry. I keep doing that. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. This is what happens when you do everything all together. There we go. Okay, I got it right now. So visitor traffic. So many users are skipping the ads altogether and trusting organic results more highly. So this gives you a higher click-through rate, which means that more visitor traffic to your website is coming. So by the way, if you neglect organic search, you'll miss out on the majority of the traffic. Like I said, with 80% coming through, you're going to miss out on that. Return on investment, or organic search traffic tends to provide a better long-term ROI as compared to other digital marketing channels. So you aren't paying for all of your visitor traffic like you would with PPC. But keep in mind here that SEO really isn't completely free. There's an investment of time, knowledge, experience, and effort that goes into making sure that your technical SEO needs are met and that you're creating and promoting rich content for your site regularly. Next, we have longevity. So paid advertising only provides you that visibility and traffic while your ads are running. And, you know, they can run due to schedule, budget, or both. You know, they may get cut off for one of those reasons. So your organic results are available 24/7, 365, giving you that broader, ongoing exposure to prospects. When you've earned that visibility, it's sticky. You are going to have that longevity. You know, you've gotten it there, you've earned that spot. It's not going to go away very quickly just because you stop paying for an ad. You're going to have a stickiness factor there. Next is reach. So even though Google is practically synonymous with search itself, with those 5.5 billion searches, with SEO, you'll still earn a broader exposure to your search audience from multiple search engines. So you'll reach them all with one strategy with your SEO. So yeah, like I said, Google is the big daddy search engine, but it's not the only one. We have to remember that there are other search engines out there that we can reach with our organic work. So when should we consider our SEO? So when your consistent results are needed, that's a great place to start with, hey, this is why I need SEO. SEO is a relatively long gestation period, like we talked about that stickiness factor. Getting to the first page of search engine results won't happen overnight. It will take time. You need to gain traction, and there's a growth period. But once your website incrementally gets there via SEO, you will enjoy that sustained traffic, the stickiness again. If you keep up with your SEO campaign, working to maintain and improve those results, you can really make an impact there that's going to last many years. So consider that when you're thinking about strategies. Another, do you have a fixed budget? Organic results are not subject to bidding wars that can get really nasty and do crazy things to your budget. So bidding wars for competitors or new PPC advertisers that come in and change up the environment, that may really increase your ad costs. With SEO, you don't have that. What if you want to increase your site value? Websites need to be considered your virtual real estate. It's an asset to your company. So investing in SEO makes your website a more effective marketing tool, thus making your business more valuable with this earned asset that you can keep. Next, when you want to build an authoritative site, SEO is a great option for you. So a high authority website is an established resource center for a particular niche. It's the go-to website when people need certain information. You know, once you get going and establish yourself as an authority and you have that branding, you know, you can then sustainably generate traffic to your pages, which builds up your reputation and builds up your conversion. Right? You're more authoritative. They trust you. They have a relationship with you. You're the go-to site. But the only way to really generate that traffic required to be an authority is with clever content that's powered by your smart SEO planning. So keep that in mind with your ongoing content. Also, do you need to improve your user experience? So SEO done correctly goes hand in hand with delivering search results that are more user-focused, user-friendly, and not only in the information that we're sharing, but the speed and accessibility of information delivery. So, by the way, this is why your SEO team makes a big deal of your site's speed and security. It's all about, you know, SEO, the search engines really want you to have a secure site that's fast. And so do your visitors, by the way. So one last thing. What if PPC is not an option for you? So this is an interesting situation that does apply though. So if your content is prohibited from PPC ad networks, say Google Ad Networks or Microsoft Ad Networks, if your content is prohibited from those networks by either their guidelines or maybe your targeted search terms do not meet the minimum national search volume requirement that's required to run an ad for that keyword, you know, this could be you. This could apply to you. Ad networks, they use a combination of automated and human evaluation to make sure their advertisers comply with their policies. This can prohibit certain kinds of content from being advertised, or it can restrict other types of keywords from being bid upon. So this is Sean's pain, by the way. He has to deal with this a lot because we have some health care related clients, and so he has to deal with that with them a lot, as you know, what we can do, what can be done and what can't. So industries such as healthcare, medicine, psychological services, financial services, these all have highly situational limitations placed upon them by Google and other search engines. So you don't always get to exactly dictate what you want to advertise on. Sometimes they limit you from doing it. All right, so next is PPC. So PPC, also known as paid per click or paid search, and we're going to talk today, let's talk about Google's paid search ads in this case, since it really is the most directly comparable to SEO organically for keyword search visibility. So what are the advantages of PPC? Why would we consider that? Well, the big one is positioning. Positioning on the page. So page search will typically dominate above the fold content in search results pages. You can see that here in this image of a snapshot of a local search I did for like a financial planner. Any user visiting those pages will have to scroll past the paid search ads to get to the organic search results. They see those first, right? This is why people like PPC. Well, this is why businesses like it. They really get that positioning early on. Also, with PPC, you have control. You get to determine your budget, your keywords, even when those are scheduled to run, and where they run. So you actually have an option for geographic location targeting, whether it's in a radius or a Nielsen area. You can create spots of promotion. That's really cool to have all that control on what you're doing. With organic, Google has all the control. You just put yourself in a position where you are, where you're in the best light for the search engines to see you, and then they control how they serve up those organic search results. With PPC, you have more control. Also have speed. So SEO is a long-term marketing channel. We talked about that earlier, but PPC campaigns can be set up and even delivering results within a matter of days. You can get something up and running quickly. And with speed, you have agility. So if you want to test a new product, a new marketing message, you can really get rapid feedback on a new product launch or a message just by running a PPC ad campaign. If you're a seasonal business, you're selling those Santa Claus suits or those Easter baskets or the Mother's Day gifts, this PPC would be a really good choice for you to do that. So let's get a feedback on all of that, right? Your marketing intelligence. Along with that marketing control, PPC provides you that detailed information about which of the keywords, the marketing message, or the landing pages are performing best. So you can take that information and along with a solid integration with your analytics software, like say Google Analytics, which is free, you can track those results and refine your pay-per-click performance to improve your ROI. And then ultimately too, this intelligence can be applied to your other marketing channels to get further value out of your pay-per-click. So that's pretty awesome to have that insight. With organic, you don't have that insight, but with paid, you do. Google is making some changes to the information that they share due to privacy reasons, but you still get more information there. So when should we choose PPC? And this is your time to consider your unique situation as we go through these. That will give you the answers you seek, or on should I go with SEO or PPC or both. Think about these things as we go through. Are you a new business? New businesses often do not really have a strong web presence yet. So PPC is a good option for you there. This is especially true if you're in a high population area and you're competing with similar businesses. Maybe you're a local business, you're competing with similar businesses for top spots in those search engine results. As a new business, that's going to be hard for you to achieve. What about highly targeted traffic? PPC gives you that targeting. So you can focus your advertising reach to specific prospects based on criteria such as location or interest, like we just talked about with those advantages. Example here would be PPC, for a local business. A local business can readily extend its advertising reach to an audience that's beyond the city or town in which it's located. Contractors, attorneys, restaurants, service providers, those are people that may be located in a specific location, but they have customers outside of that town and they want to reach those, or, a prospect to those. So PPC is an awesome way to reach an area outside of the town that you're located in, especially if you're a local business. What if you're promoting a time-sensitive offer? So if you need immediate or time-specific results, PPC is awesome for this. So product launches, limited time offers, seasonal promotions, those Santa suits and the Mother's Day gifts. This is an awesome way to promote that time sensitive offer. Event focused marketing, you have an event coming on, that kind of thing. Great for that. E-commerce. So this is really cool. So if you have an e-commerce store, you can actually launch shopping ads. And you may have seen those. Those are those visual product ads that show up in Google search results or the shopping tab. You can go to the shopping tab, or sometimes they're at the top of the page too, and you actually see a picture. They promote your product in the SERPs by displaying that picture, the description, the price, shipping info sometimes, that you can see that and compare it to others. And this kind of ad can really improve the click-through rate by offering that feature of the photo that isn't available in organic search at all. You don't see that yet. So that can be quite a promotional tease to someone who's shopping for something that you offer. So that's a great opportunity there. Lastly, what if your site just is not ready for SEO? It's just not a candidate for it for whatever reason. So maybe your landing page just is not viable organically, but you still want that traffic from the search engines, then PPC is, obviously going to be your best bet to go with. I mean, this really is an opportunity to create a custom experience for your pay-per-click audience with PPC focused landing pages there. So do that, put those together. I mean, for example, promoting squeeze pages, if you've heard of those. Squeeze pages are focused on driving one specific outcome, such as an ebook download or white paper or a service coupon that comes in exchange for an email address. Those standalone pages won't have the required content to even really merit a second glance from Google organically, but it still can have a focus and it still can have an audience. So PPC would be your opportunity there to catch that traffic. So let's talk about the peanut butter and jelly of your marketing here. What about SEO and PPC together? When you get SEO and PPC working together, you'll often be able to drive results that are greater than their component parts. The sum is greater than the whole here. So we always suggest considering this when it makes sense. So, and also too, by the way, there's some myths out there that I want to myth bust here for a second. Despite what you may have heard, being a pay-per-click advertiser does not directly at all affect your organic results. That is a myth out there. We hear that a lot. Some people think, oh, if I pay for my ads, I won't get organic results because Google's going to go for the cash and, they're going to prefer that I pay. That is not true. That is a myth. So don't rely on that at all. But that said, there are, they don't directly affect each other, but there are many advantages when you combine the benefits of both SEO and PPC together. So you can see some of those here. So first is dominating the search results. As mentioned before, SEO is going to give you exposure for relevant searches. Your ads just are not permitted to cover. Pay-per-click can provide that quick visibility for your most important search terms above the SEO results. There's that speed that we were talking about earlier, and the positioning. That is nice. But in situations where they overlap and you have both a paid ad and an organic result, you're covering more prime real estate on that search results page, which gives you, dominance on that page. SEO is also going to improve the quality of your PPC. Now, it may not make sense, but think about it. So good SEO practices mean that your site is optimized for relevant searches and user experience with your site's landing pages. So these are very important factors that also affect your PPC quality score and can improve ROI there with a lower cost per click. The higher quality score that your ad has, the lower your cost per click is. So using SEO helps you have a better site and thus get a better quality score for lower costs. PPC data improves your SEO. So this is a situation in reverse. The data that you receive from your PPC work is going to improve your SEO. So paid ads provide this marketing intelligence we talked about earlier, that data that can be applied to refine your SEO program. You'll have the benefit of additional data to tell you what is working and contribute to your search strategies. I mean, the speed and agility of pay-per-click here can be applied as a great testing platform too. Use that platform before committing additional resources to your SEO strategy. It's great for testing. Also, the strategic advantage. So with both in combination, you're not putting all your eggs into one proverbial basket, right? You're not just doing one or the other. You have both working for you. So let's say if your company had major changes made to your site without any SEO ranking preservation in mind, and as a result, you suffer a loss of rankings and traffic, say you changed your URL or you changed your brand or something drastically changed there, and your organic results plummeted, then thankfully you'd have a mature PPC campaign in place to hold that line for you while you work to get back up there. Efforts to develop organic traffic can sustain a business when ad spend is cut back due to unforeseen circumstances. We saw this a lot in 2020. That was kind of what we called the COVID lesson there, which is, especially starting in Q2 of 2020, this started to happen. Companies who relied solely on their paid search versus their SEO, their organic work, but then had their ad budgets cut during COVID, they lost the bulk of their online visibility. And that was really at a time where they really needed it the most. Searches were spiking. Way more people were buying online and searching online than even were before. And if that would not have happened, they would have not lost that traffic and that visibility had they had an SEO plan going all along that worked alongside their PPC plan. With PPC, if you cut it, it's gone. That it's a pay-to-play situation. So ideally, we feel like everyone really needs to have a holistic search engine strategy for strong visibility in both paid and organic, rather than looking at either paid or SEO in isolation. Don't silo those two. Consider how they can work together and work for the better. Like I said, it's the peanut butter and jelly. It's the whole is greater than the sum of its parts here. One thing I do need to say here is that because they both have this in common, they both require ongoing optimization. So, there is always what you are doing, what your competitors are doing, what the search engines are doing, with their algorithms and testing how they present information on search results pages. Either or both of these methods, SEO or PPC, they should never really be a set it or forget it type of situation. Someone needs to pay attention to all three of these things as the landscape changes. And trust me, it does change regularly. For example, with SEO, there has been a trend towards mobile first and page speed and better user experience. For paid, there are constantly changes to features and guidelines to remain competitive. I mean, this year there's been a really big emphasis on user privacy and its impact on pay-per-click advertisers. That is not going to change, by the way. And so honestly, a lot of digital marketing campaigns fail, not because they weren't right or the opportunity wasn't there. It's a lot of times because they just they just were not being managed effectively, or weren't being managed at all. Once, like I said, not a set it and forget it situation. They really do, both of them, whichever you choose or choose to work together, they both really need to be managed effectively to keep, someone needs to keep up with the algorithms, keep up with the changes and the tweaks that are happening and how they affect your business ultimately. So please keep that in mind when discussing all of these options. And it looks like we have some questions that have come in to the chat here. So it's question time. I'll be back. Let's see. Looks like, let me see what these questions are. We have a couple. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna put my camera up too, so you guys, now you can see me on purpose. Okay, great. So questions here. All right, here's an awesome question. What information do you get from PPC that you don't get from SEO? Is this something about Google's privacy reasons? Sean, are you there?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
What do you think about that? What information do you get from PPC that you don't get from SEO? Is this something about Google's privacy reasons?
Well, no, it's not really about privacy. This is something that's been happening for a little while. Back in the olden days of SEO, you used to get a lot of good information about search terms that people were using through Google Search Console. And for some unknown reason, Google decided to not make that information readily available to folks through Google Analytics and Google Search Console organically like it used to be. With Google Ads, you actually do have access to the search query data. That is the stuff that people are actually typing in through something called the search terms report. And so you can actually see what exactly people have typed in and how it ties back into the keywords that you have targeted for PPC. Now, there is a caveat with that too. Recently, Google has started aggregating and limiting some of the data that appears in search terms reports. So if there was a lot of one-off searches and things like that, you may not necessarily see that in your report anymore. But for the most part, you do still get the vast majority of search term data. And a neat little workaround is you can actually still see your complete search query data if you look through Google Analytics at your Google Ads performance. So that's a little bit of a more technical workaround, but you still have access to more of that data than you would organically. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Awesome. I hope that answers your question. Let's see, we have one or two more, and we're doing really well in time, so this is awesome. Another one is, can I run PPC just for specials, and not all the time?
Well, yes, you can do that, but there are a lot of good reasons why you don't necessarily want to do that. As Angela had mentioned, when it comes to results, PPC is a lot faster than organic SEO, but it still isn't instant. And it's important to keep in mind that Google Ads best practices say that you need to give the system about 14 to 21 days from making major changes to let the system learn. So a major change for Google Ads would be starting up a new campaign, restarting an existing campaign that had been paused previously, or making something like a budget change. And so by starting and stopping, you're missing out on a good opportunity for your ads to learn from trends that have been going on and information that Google's AI is privy to that we as advertisers are just not privy to. We get a good amount of information, but there are millions and millions of signals that Google's machine learning has access to that we just can't keep up with. And then some other reasons are any kind of A/B testing, which you should always be testing different ad messaging, different landing page options and things like that. If you're pausing your ads, you're undermining your testing, and you may not be giving those tests the chance to accumulate the kind of data that they need to tell whether or not they've been successful. And the same applies if you've got ads that maybe have been underperforming in the past. A poorly performing ad may just need time and tweaking to figure out what's going on and improve performance. A paused ad can't deliver anything. So that's an important thing. And instead of pausing your ads, you might want to do something like, you can set up ad schedules within Google Ads. So you can say, okay, I only want my ads to run a certain time of day or certain days of the week. And you want to absolutely make sure that you're utilizing tools like negative keywords. So those are terms, they're like the antithesis of a keyword. They're saying, okay, these are terms I do not want my ads to show up for. And that can really help you control your costs and more qualify your audiences.
Awesome. So I promised you that Sean would give you a thorough answer to your questions, and he just did. So thank you so much, Sean. I can always count on you. I really can. All right. So we have one more, unless another one comes in, which it does. You're welcome to. This is your chance. You have another one up to shoot us real quick. Please do here in the next minute or so. We have one more question that's in. All right. So should I bid on my own brand for PPC if I'm already ranking for it organically? Should I bid on my brand if I'm ranking for it organically? What say you, Sean?
That is a really good question, and that is a question we get a lot. So again, the short answer is yes. It is a good idea to bid on your brand even if you have high organic rankings already. And there are a few different reasons for this. So like Angela had mentioned, bidding on your brand helps you dominate that search engine result page. And that's going to in turn increase your click-through rate, and it's going to help assure searchers that you are a prominent player for your service or for your product. So it basically in your arena. Another really nice benefit is you can control your messaging. So PPC gives you the opportunity to test out different ad copy, different creatives, even to tell Google which landing pages you want to use. Organically, you don't have quite as much control. Changes take time. Adjustments to messaging will take time. And Google is determining what the most relevant landing page is, not you as an advertiser. Another really good thing is it's protecting your brand from competitors. Some savvy competitors may end up actually bidding on your brand to try and surpass you on the Google search page. So their ads may appear even above that first organic ranking. If you bid on your own brand, that's giving you an opportunity to beat them to the punch. And on top of that, branded searches, you are the most relevant person for your brand. Your company is always going to be the most relevant. And that means that your clicks are cheap. So when the average cost per click on Google Ads is somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.17, branded clicks are much, much cheaper. They're closer to what you would pay for display clicks, which are less than $1 more often than not. And so your brand's going to have high quality scores and lower cost per clicks. And then another even more benefit is it will help you convert people that are pretty low in that search funnel. So they've already done their research. They've already kind of narrowed down who they want to either select for service or to buy their products from. And you're just at this point making it easier for them to go right to your site, go right to that page and complete that action.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I know, and wait, there's more.
There's more.
Studies have actually shown that there's this halo effect that occurs when people see your search results or see you in the search results for both paid and organic. And so paid does kind of steal a little bit of your organic traffic, but ultimately you'll end up getting more visitor traffic when you're utilizing both than you would if you were just utilizing organic SEO or PPC alone. So it's like a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of situation. So, I mean, there are just so many good reasons to do it.
Well, that's that we were talking about earlier. SEO plus PPC is that, the sum being greater than its parts.
Exactly.
The whole being greater than the sum of its parts. Let me rephrase that. That definitely goes into there. And I mean, we do SEO Rocket. We do PPC for our brand, and it's what, 40, 50 cents a click now.
Oh
It's
yeah, it's very,
really cheap.
very inexpensive just for our brand terms.
Right, absolutely. And then it gives us, more dominance on the page. And you can see us in the organic results. You can see us in the Google My Business listings. You can see us in the paid ads. So it is a great way to sort of, express your authority there and your dominance on the page.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Well, that's it for questions. And, Sean gave you some fantastic answers. I hope you learned a lot from that. And we certainly enjoy having you with us here today as we are reporting live from our home offices that we're still in. But as we rotate in and out of in our offices and mostly still at home, but that's okay. It feels good, right? So thank you for joining us today. We actually have I want to invite you to join us next month. Let's see here. Next month, our May webinar on May 26th, that will be creating content for each stage of your marketing funnel. So please join us for that. We will talk about, we've done content. We did do a content webinar before, but this breaks it down even further and talks about the marketing funnel stages. So all the way from discovery and consideration, exploration, all the way to our main goal, of course, which is always a purchase, right, or a contact form, something of that nature. So we're going to talk about tips, give you tips on what your visitors want to see on your site to give them confidence in you and help them build that relationship with you at each, and in your social media as well, that content at each different stages of the marketing funnel. So great information. Please join us for that. If you'd like to sign up for that, you can go to the SEOrocket.com homepage right now. Sean put it up while I was talking earlier. And there's a register now button, and you'll see this image on our homepage. So just go ahead, go there. You can register now and save your seat. We'd love to have you join us again May 26th. We'll see you then. If you would like to see this webinar again, maybe there's something you missed or a note that you didn't take, or you wanted to see me screw up again and like cut my camera on when I wasn't supposed to accidentally, you want to see that again, you can go to our YouTube channel, and this webinar will be up soon on there. While you're there, please click that little bell icon and subscribe so you can see it. See the videos sent to you every time we post new ones. Also, too, we'll have them up on our blog in a couple of days too at SEOrocket.com. You can see it there. We would, any questions that you have that may come in afterwards, please give me a shout out at Angela@SEOrocket.com. I'll be happy to get those answers to you. And we have one more thing today. So I don't know if you've seen this yet, but we are now offering advanced SEO audits. So this is a great way if you are not really sure what your SEO performance looks like, how you're doing there, or where to start with it. This is a really good foot in the door to begin thinking about, where your strengths and weaknesses are for your site. So that advanced audit, we look at, it's like 100 points. SEO site audit. One of our SEO experts in-house will do that for you. They'll provide you with an executive summary of the findings and the recommendations, and then we'll do a 1-hour consultation call with you that you can record if you would like, and we can send you that recording. You'll have that consultation with our SEO specialist that'll go over all the recommendations, where they see opportunities for improvement, where they see what the findings are and what we're recommending to you. So it's an awesome value. It takes us about a week to turn around and get that to you. You get the executive summary and that consultation. We're actually doing a 20% off on that through the end of this month, through the end of April. So check it out. You've got 3 days left. I popped the link in the chat box so you can follow that link to our site and get more information on those SEO audits and sign up for one. Please do that if you are questioning your SEO performance right now, or questioning whether SEO or PPC is right for you. That would be a fantastic place for you to start. So follow that link and you can find that. Thank you so much for joining us today. We actually are finishing up early. I don't know how I did that. like 15 minutes early. This is the first time. But good for you. I'll let everyone get on to their lunches. But thank you for your time today. We appreciate you joining us, and we hope you think this hour 45 minutes was worth it to you. So Sean and I are out, but for now, bye-bye. We hope to see you in May.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.